Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics. I'm Taylor Phillips, and welcome to episode 54 of Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. Lots to cover tonight. Tigers, Spartans, Wolverines, and Chippewas, and a little bit of Eagles as well. Chippewas were the only winners, but let me tell you what, I had a blast at the ultimate tailgating party. I met the Fox Sports Detroit girls. I finally met Allison there, first time. I also met Angela for the first time in my first attempt. I also met Lauren the second time. Isn't that a delight? I got my picture taken with all three of them very quickly, and I got two autographs from each of them, one on my white Tigers cap and one on my new Fox Sports Detroit Girls flyer. Let's get down to business. But that's why I'm not in as bad of a mood as you think I am. I'm in a very good mood. David Price gets roughed up early for 4 runs in the first inning. On a Pablo Sandoval RBI single, Andrew Suzak a 2-run double, and then Joaquin Arias an RBI double. Wow. Who the heck are those guys? Just a bunch of guys that can get it done. Not necessarily all-stars. Miguel Cabrera made the Tigers respond with a 2-run home run in the bottom half of that first inning. Miguel Cabrera would also homer in the bottom of the 8th. But Victor Martinez cut the lead to 1 with a solo shot in the bottom of the 3rd, but Buster Posey took advantage of a fastball and drilled one to center, to left center field, in the top of the 5th. That made it 5-3. Price gave up all 5 runs and hoped that he would get bailed out. Miguel Cabrera's home run in the bottom of the 8th cut the lead to 1 again, 5-4, but that was it. Because in the bottom of the 9th, well, just nothing at all. 1-2-3 inning by Santiago Casilla. Alex Avila pinch hit for James McCann, who went 0 for 3. McCann finally got his first MLB career start, but the reason McCann went 0 for 3 was because he waited too long in the major league dugout with the Tigers for almost a week. He was called up along with many other minor leaguers on September 1st on Monday, on Labor Day, and he only got to catch in the bottom of the 9th inning in Cleveland against the Indians in a 12-1 Tigers win. And he never got a chance to bat until Saturday. I mean, I would pin that completely on Brad Ausmus, because Brad Ausmus didn't do any of the apparently did not do any of the homework by about James McCann's offensive statistics with the AAA affiliated Toledo Mud Hens. Brad Ausmus, as a rookie manager, he just doesn't learn much. He really doesn't. He's not being the boss either. Those are his two major flaws right now as a manager. As a manager, you have to be the boss, and you have to do the homework. The homework. And don't just put it all into simple words. You have to show us your important statistics and things that are even a little, and statistics that are even even just a little important, that could still help build up to a season. With that loss, the Tigers don't gain any ground on the Royals or the Mariners. Royals lost to the Yankees 6-2, but the Mariners doubled up the Rangers 4-2 in Texas. So the Tigers still trailed the Kansas City Royals by 2 games flat in the American League Central Division standings. But with the Mariners winning, the Tigers trail Seattle by a game and a half for the second wild card spot, which is worse. The Tigers are heading for a pitfall. And this is a major concern. David Price pitched all but one out the entire game except for one out, where Phil Coke induced a ground ball to first after Eugenio Suarez made a stupid fielding error, a rare fielding error, which took David Price out of the game, but it did not cost the Tigers defense a run. So, with that being said, the Detroit Tigers expect catcher Alex Avila to return to the starting lineup on Sunday at 8, when Kyle Lobstein tries to go for his first win or his first decision against Tim Hudson at 9-9 with a 3.08 ERA. ERA. Alex Avila said he passed all his concussion tests the day he came out of the game, but was having slight headaches. He said the doctors and trainers just wanted to make sure he didn't have any type of symptoms before coming back. If everything goes well soon, he'll be back in there hopefully tomorrow. He pinch hit earlier Saturday in the 9th inning. So he would apparently start in the 9th, be in the starting lineup on Sunday. Not the 9th. That would be the first inning. He already pinched it. He already pinched it in the 9th. And for James McCann's part, Jason Beck from MLB.com writes, part of the work that earned James McCann his reputation for strong game management as a Tigers catching prospect was a notebook he kept on AAA hitters and at Toledo and a mental database he kept on pitchers. He was a long way off the notes Saturday at Comerica Park, but he didn't exactly need a lot of research. McCann's first major league start had him catching former Cy Young winner David Price and hitting against Giants all-star Madison Bumgarner, who got the win. No notes were required. McCann said afterwards, quote, "Words can't describe it. Seems like just yesterday I was in college watching Price pitch on TV, and today I'm out there catching for him. It was an awesome experience." For most of the crowd at Comerica Park, it was the first real glimpse of the former Tigers' top pick projected by many as Detroit's future behind the plate. For McCann, it was the first go-round in the process of preparing for catching and calling a major league game. Victor Martinez said McCann did a great job, did great, especially for the kind of game they played today. From here on, every pitch is important, every at-bat as well. Victor thought for McCann being a rookie, first time starting with a pitcher like David Price, Victor thought James McCann did a great job handling himself great behind the plate. McCann caught the full game, but he was pinch hit by Alex Avila in the bottom of the 9th. He fell one out shy of catching a complete game for David Price, albeit in defeat. He and Price got that far after an adjustment following 5 consecutive first inning hits. McCann said they're a very aggressive team, are the Giants. We started moving the ball in and out and keeping the ball down in the zone and letting them make quick outs. Price threw 24 pitches, 19 of them strikes, over 8 batters in the first inning, but gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. He gave up 4 hits over the next 7 2/3 innings, though one was a Buster Posey solo homer that ended up being the difference in the 5-4 loss. It was one game, and it didn't include a stolen base attempt, but it lived up to the scouting report on McCann. Brian Ausmus said McCann's got a reputation as being very good at the plate and taking a lot of pride in calling a game. That said, Ausmus has been hesitant to play McCann much as a September call-up, but he doesn't have that first-hand knowledge. Price's knowledge of what he wants to throw played a role in Ausmus's choice, as did the left-hander on the mound for the opposing side. McCann went hitless, but he wasn't overmatched. He lined out to left field, flied out to right in his first two at-bats against Bumgarner, both early in the count, before hitting a six-inning line drive that second baseman Joe Panik robbed with a diving catch. One thing that James McCann is lacking on offense is skill hitting. See those three so-called hits. Those three pitches that McCann hit in fair territory were right to the opposing fielder. The opposing fielders. And most of the time you're going to get an out. You're going to get out on a line drive catch. And that's not what you want. You want to make every fielder miss those line drives and try to hit a gapper up in left center field, for example, for a double, maybe a triple. That's one of your main objectives in helping to produce offense. Sunday's game will start at 8:00, and you will catch this. It will be televised on ESPN and ESPN Radio, also 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, CBS radio station. Since it's on ESPN Radio, it can also be heard on the new Detroit Sports 105.1, WMGC FM HD1 in Detroit. So, so once again, Jack Morris is going to join television broadcasts of the Tigers with Mario Impemba and Rod Allen on Fox Sports Detroit starting next year, but he will also do color analysis for 6 games. This month. But looking at the standings, both the regular season, both the division standings and the wild cards, the Central Division standings and the wild card standings, technically, from a fan's perspective, you kind of wonder. You're seeing the Tigers letting their playoff hopes slip away, and think negatively that they're not going to make it. They got Dan Miller from Fox 2 News, the sports in the sports department said the Tigers don't have any spark right now. They need a spark. He was talking with Drew Sharp and Sean Baligian from ESPN 961 in Grand Rapids' It Is What It Is. Drew Sharp is a writer, a famous writer for the Detroit Free Press. So check them out. Moving on to college football. Michigan State led 24 to 18 at halftime after Oregon led 8-0 in the first quarter. But then the Ducks scored 28 unanswered, 14 in the third, 14 in the fourth, to beat the Spartans 46 to 27. The Ducks are now 2-0, still ranked third. The Spartans are 1-1. Oregon true freshman tailback Royce Freeman scored a 30-yard touchdown run early in the fourth quarter. To extend Oregon's lead. And he sealed it with a 14-yard touchdown carry with 1:25 remaining in the game. For the Spartans, Jeremy Langford. No, wait. Connor Cook, the quarterback for the Spartans, finished 29 of 47 passing for a career high 343 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota finished 17 of 28 passing for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns and rushed for 42 yards on 9 attempts. So Michigan State gets off next weekend, and then the weekend after that, they will host the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Who got crippled by the Florida Gators. $65-0 Florida over Eastern Michigan. Oregon outgained Michigan State 491 to 466 and won the turnover battle. The Spartans had 2 turnovers and Oregon had none. Michigan State held Oregon to 13 rushing yards on 14 carries in the first half, and the Ducks were just 1 of 7 on third downs through the first 30 minutes. Mariota was pressured by the Spartans' pass rush on 10 of his 20 dropbacks in the first half. So that was that's it for the Spartans, except Michigan State head coach Mark Antonio says they stalled out in that loss. He quoted, "There was an ebb and flow in this game. They started out pretty fast. We needed to get some things done. We were able to counter that in the second quarter and went in at halftime with a 6-point lead. We came out the third quarter and we got and we've got to score touchdowns, not kick the field goal. So we stalled out, and that happened a couple other times in the fourth quarter where we were able to possibly cut it back to a one-score difference. Defensively blowing two coverages, Oregon hit Michigan State on another one on a blitz. Too many big plays, too many explosive plays. But that's Oregon. We understand that's part of this. Things started to snowball, and we couldn't stop it from snowballing. It's pretty much the important things that D'Antonio said about that. Michigan State played a very tough opponent, ranked third in the nation in the Oregon Ducks. Now to the Michigan Wolverines at Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame clobbered and blanked Michigan 31-0 in South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium. Graduate student Devin Gardner finished the game throwing 19 for 31 for 189 yards and 2 interceptions, while Michigan's leading rusher was sophomore Davion Smith, who ran for 30 yards on 7 carries. Junior Devin Funchess led all receivers with 107 yards on 9 receptions. Notre Dame scored the first points of the game on a 1-yard touchdown run by Cam McDaniel with 1:50 left in the first quarter, taking advantage of 2 defensive pass interference calls against Michigan on the drive. Midway through the second quarter, the Irish converted on a 4th and 3, but before Everett Golston threw a 2-yard touchdown pass to Amir Carlisle to cap off a 13-play, 80-yard drive with a 358 left in the first half. Notre Dame scored again before halftime as Golston found William Fuller in the end zone with 34 seconds left, giving the Irish a 21-0 lead going into the intermission. The Irish would get their 10 other points afterwards. Fuller led the Irish receivers with 9 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown, while Carlisle finished with 7 receptions for 61 yards and 2 scores. The Wolverines won the rushing yards battle 100-56 and had more total yards than Notre Dame, 289 to 282, but was penalized 5 times for 50 yards, while the Irish committed only 2 penalties for 5 yards. The Wolverines head back home next Saturday to take on the Miami, Ohio Redhawks, a MAC team, a Mid-American Conference team. Kickoff scheduled for 3:30, and it'll be televised on BTN, the Big Ten Network. Speaking of MAC, oh, wait a second. Some news about Brady Hoke refusing to address injuries. But that's because Hoke said he doesn't know enough about them yet. Well, he should pretty soon. freshman cornerback Jabril Peppers was expected to be available to play after suffering an ankle injury during last week's season opener. He was dressed and went through pregame warm-ups, but he didn't even step onto the field once. Senior quarterback Ray Taylor started the game at one corner spot, but left in the first quarter limping off the field in the stadium tunnel with a team trainer. And Michigan's senior quarterback was slow to get up after taking a late hit on the team's final offensive play of the game, an interception thrown by Gardner. Who told reporters later that he was fine. So the reason why Brady Hoke won't address the injuries for Michigan football is because it's only 2 weeks into the regular season. It's pretty simple. Let's go to CMU. I actually covered Eastern Michigan already, so CMU is all I have left. Andy Snedden from CMUChippewas.com writes, the Chippewas built an early 14-0 lead behind two big plays, one from the defense, the other from the offense, then took command, being another big rushing day from Thomas Rawls Saturday in beating Purdue 38-17 on the road before 36,410 at Ross-Ade Stadium. CMU is now 2-0 for the first time since 2002, and Saturday's victory was its first over a Big Ten foe since a 32-31 win at Iowa in 2012 when David Harmon kicked in a game-winning field goal. The Chippewas are 6-23 all-time against Big Ten opponents, but 4-4 in their last 8 meetings with teams from that conference. Cornerback Brandon Greer returned an interception 57 yards out for a touchdown to give CMU a 7-0 lead before just under 5 minutes into the game. Cooper Rush also connected with Anthony Rice on a 65-yard touchdown pass to make it 14-0 with 7:29 to play in the first quarter. Rush completed. Thomas Rawls continued his early season with 155 yards and 2 touchdowns on 31 carries, all career highs. He ran for 123 yards a week ago in the 2016 win over the Tennessee Chattanooga Mocs. Cooper Rush completed 11 of 16 pass attempts for 172 yards and 2 touchdowns and one interception when the Chips were leading 31-10 in the fourth quarter. CMU's defense allowed 326 yards, but it forced 3 turnovers, an interception by cornerback Jason Wilson, and Danny Etling for Purdue was 17 of 32 with 126 carries. Austin Appleby, who relieved Etling in the fourth quarter, was 7 for 17 for 78 yards and a touchdown. The Boilermakers would get on the board after trailing 14-0. Etling scored a 4-yard touchdown carry, making it 14-7, but CMU would respond back. Thomas Rawls scored from 2 yards out after the Chippewas collected 73 yards on their next possession, making it 21-7. Redshirt freshman Brian Evy's 23-yard field goal, the first of his collegiate career, increased CMU's lead to 31-10 early in the fourth quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up and head to bed. So an early reminder that the Lions are opening their regular season at Ford Field against the New York Giants. You can catch that on ESPN Monday Night Football with Mike Tirico and John Gruden at 7:10 on ESPN. Join Mike and Mike in the morning on Monday morning on Detroit Sports 105.1, reporting live from Ford Field. Also, the Detroit Sports 105.1 team is at Ford Field, and when every Lions game ends, Detroit Sports 105.1 has complete straight-edge post-game analysis. Tigers and Giants, 8 o'clock on ESPN. Catch that on TV and the Detroit Tigers Radio Network, and then episode 55, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.